There's never been a better time to join us here at onlinefishing.tv. Welcome to your world.
This is my local lake. It was places like this that I started fishing, coarse fishing, when I was a boy. But these days I do much more salmon fishing, and I'm lucky enough to fish all over the world. Now when I'm here, I get asked many questions, and generally the first one people ask me is, how can I get into salmon fishing, Ray? Would my tackle be any good? Now for me, my salmon fishing consists generally of fly fishing most of the time, but some spinning. And I think most guys travelling from, let's say, coarse fishing to salmon would in fact take the spinning route. So what I want to concentrate on first with regard to tackle for salmon fishing is spinning tackle, and we'll start with the first and most important piece of equipment, the fishing rod. The rod I've got here today is the one that I regularly use for salmon and could be regarded as a result of 30 years of research. And to be honest, it couldn't be more simple. You'll find many carp blanks are exactly the same as this. It's a through action rod, which means when I flex it like this, it forms a parabola and I can feel the result of that pull right down to my thumb. I can feel the blank moving right down there. For me, 10 foot is the spot on length for a spinning rod. You can control the bait at distance quite well because you've got a rod long enough to do that, and it's not that long that you're actually getting such a curve in the rod when you get a fish that you're actually worried about it. It's absolutely spot on. So if you're going to buy a spinning rod to kick off with, 9 or 10 foot is what you should be looking for. What's special about it? Nothing really. There of course is a big spinning ring there, which means that the line, when you chuck it, doesn't gather. It slides through a really big ring very, very easily. The most important point, and the difference between this and a carp rod, which may well use the same blank, is that the reel has been placed in a position, i.e. forward, which allows the point of balance on this rod to be there. Because with a spinning rod, you'll have it in your hand for 99% of the time. A carp rod may be in a rest. And it may seem like a very, very small point, but once you've had a rod which tends to tip that way in your hand all day, you do tend to feel it here. So the point of balance is right where my hand is and right where the reel is. Apart from that, it's a simple 1 1/4 pound test curve rod, the kind that forms the backbone of short rods for carp fishing all over the country.
Your rod needs to be 3 meters in length and capable of casting weights in the 20 to 50 gram range. Remember, you'll be holding this rod all day, so it needs to be light with the point of balance just in front of the reel.
Now the reel I use would be instantly recognisable to the average coarse angler. It's one that you'd find attached to a carp rod anywhere around. It's a very good reel. This one's quite old. What I would say is this: you want to take a medium range, good quality spinning reel. And in fact, there are hundreds and hundreds on the market that will do the job. This one has got a counterbalance handle on it, i.e. 2 sides. So when you're revolving it, it's very, very secure. You don't get that wobble that you get with a single handle. Very, very smooth action. Apart from that, this one has a drag at the rear where you can adjust the drag, i.e. the pressure that will force the line out through the spool, very, very easily with your right or left hand. This is known as a bait runner type, where if you push forward, all the tension in the line goes and the fish can take line off freely. The drag and the gearing on this kind of reel will allow you to play fish on 10 to 12 pound lines through the clutch. And if I can give you one tip as a coarse fisher migrating to salmon fishing, You must get used to playing a fish through the clutch of these reels. A lot of people in coarse fishing backwind when they get a fish. You will not, repeat not, be able to backwind a salmon which is disappearing down a fast flowing river at 20 miles an hour. You must, if you want to go salmon fishing, get very, very used to playing a fish through the clutch. It's one of the initial mistakes I made, and I lost a very heavy fish on the Hampshire Ave in the 80s. By trying to backwind, I ended up with a broken thumb, a lost fish, and what's more, a broken heart. So, very, very simple, very plain. You can convert any reel, any good quality spinning reel to salmon fishing should you so wish. The line I've got on here is 15-pound monofil. Now, if you want a line that will take you right the way through the season for most of the applications you're going to need, that is it. Just load up with 15-pound monofil. If, for instance, you want to go down a little bit in the summer, you can go to 10-pound via a swivel. You can have your swivel link at 10 pound or whatever. So 15 pound is what you really need on your reel.
Your reel should be robust with a spool capacity of over 100 metres of 15-pound mono. It needs to be smooth actioned and with a good quality fighting drag system.
Here at Fishing TV, we've come up with a very special offer. If you buy a 6-month season ticket for our video on demand service, onlinefishing.tv, not only will you be able to watch all of our hundreds of programmes whenever you want, as many times as you want, safe in the knowledge that there's always something new to see, but we'll also give you over £40 worth of top quality line absolutely free. We've got together with the fishing line experts from Ultima to create 4 different packages designed to suit your type of fishing, whether you're a coarse, carp, game or sea angler. There's really never been a better time to join onlinefishing.tv. Here's a small selection from some of the game fishing programmes we have waiting for you, including some produced exclusively for the channel, as well as a few classics that may have slipped through your net, plus some programmes from around the world that have never been seen before on British television. In this episode of the Game Fisher's Diary, entitled Ripon Yarns, Rae Borras travels to the ancient Yorkshire market town of Ripon on the penultimate day of the trout season to explore some of the nearby day ticket waters, in the company of English international Fred Bainbridge and local expert Ken Mason.
If there's a big fish in front, he'll want it.
There's been rumours that I'm terrible in a boat, Ray.
He's terrible in a boat. If you catch fish at your side, you can guarantee within seconds he'll be over the top of you.
Yeah, but you have to have that little bit of a competitive streak, you do. All right then,
Right,
Ken.
come on, old man. Let's have you.
Oh man, you just start all that, mate. I'm telling you, I've had enough trouble with him.
Aye, well, he's laughing now.
Right, I'm going to pop down to that deeper bit.
Right. Get in front of him and we'll get the better fish.
I'll tell you what, I hope so.
Yeah, well, we should do.
I've never seen anybody blinking fish down a pool that fast.
He does.
The title of this series pretty much says it all. Invaluable advice from this highly talented Hardy Grays consultant.
This is Southwood Fishery in North Devon, and it's a typical small still water. It's a little bit wet today, but we're going to fish it, and we're going to be fishing features. What we're looking for is things like feeder streams, pinnacles, weed beds, and deep water. The flies we're going to be using are these things. These are lures. The clarity today just isn't very good at all, and so the fish aren't going to be feeding, they're not going to be taking those insects. So we've got to wind them up, we've got to agitate them, we've got to make them aggressive. We're going to be using this kind of stuff here, these big fluffy lures as they're called.
In this episode of Beyond the Rise, Tony J gives us a very personal view on fishing chalk streams and small lakes.
There's a bat. Well, I'm blowed. Thought it was a swallow. There must be flies coming off the surface for a bat to be hunting this time of day. See, there are flies around. There we go. Wonderful. Never ceases to excite me. Adrenaline's rushing through. Lovely bend in the rod. Another rainbow. Pull him in fairly quickly. Don't exhaust him.
Beautiful, really. Lovely markings on these fish here. Lovely, just covered in huge spots. Blue sheen all down his back. Slide him back in. Watch him swim out across the gravels. Probably wondering why I didn't take him home for tea.
Often hailed as the greatest fishing series ever made, a passion for angling's quintessential charm still inspires anglers today.
Neither Bob or Chris caught a single sea trout or salmon. The lack of water sorted that. So they vowed to return in the autumn when the rains had arrived, leaving the river to the ospreys and otters. A river so low the roe deer could cross without getting their sporrans wet.
Paul Young has become almost as famous for his fishing programmes as he has for his acting roles. But if you had to guess which he likes best, it probably wouldn't be the most difficult task in the world.
Well, as you can probably tell from the colourful surroundings, autumn has well and truly arrived. And the turning leaves are a timely reminder that here in the Tay at least, the season, it's almost over. In fact, this is the very last day, my final chance this season to try and contact one of those elusive Tay salmon. The river's in very good condition, the water's running clear, I'm all set to go, so let's give it a try.
Emma Pickering may be one of the best female match anglers in the world, but much to her regret, she's never been salmon fishing before. Up until now, that is.
I'm knackered. And bless her, she's still going. She is as focused as anybody I've ever seen. World Championship stuff. I'm absolutely determined to get Emma into a salmon, but with only an hour of daylight left, the chances are getting slim. However, the old spider senses are still working.
Oh, that's a big fish there.
Looks good. Whoa. Can't get out of the clarity of this water.
Treasured by the local anglers that fish them, the unspoilt and remote rivers of New Zealand really are a game fisher's paradise.
Already in this first pull, Chris has briefly hooked and lost a fish, and now he's presented with the opportunity of catching a trophy trout. The trout has passed by Chris's nymph, probably because it was too far away to see it. So Chris is casting again, well in front of the fish, anticipating the path of its beat. See it cruising past his strike indicator?
Oh, he's coming for my fly. He's coming for the fly. Here he goes. Oh, he missed it. Yeah, I hooked him.
Beauty.
With the beautiful snowy mountains as a backdrop, it's like fly rods, small streams and clever trout.
We're back into the tussocks again.
He knows every little corner, every tussock, every undercut. I think he's had me into every single one.
Yeah. Nice fish. He's ready, I'm ready.
Beautiful.
Well done. Look at those red spots.
This episode of Wild on the Fly is the stuff dreams are made of. As 6 anglers fly into the Alaskan Arctic Circle on a quest for giant red-bellied Arctic char.
Vern's next fish is beginning to reach legendary monster dimensions. But even this bad boy takes second place to what Rich has just tied into. It's one of the impossibly colored males that forces him back on the gravel bar just to get it landed and leaves him speechless when he does.
If you A, like saltwater fly fishing, and B, like your fishing energetic, then yellowtail kingfish will tick both your boxes.
Here they come. Too fast. Oh, that's a big one there. Yeah, down now, they're right there. That's it. No, too fast, John. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but...
For some people, size isn't everything. However, that definitely can't be said for Jakob Wagner, a man who travels the globe in search of the world's largest freshwater fish.
Uno, dos, tres.
If you like what you've just seen and want to see more, then there's never been a better time to join us here at onlinefishing.tv. Welcome to your world.
Well, if we talk about the real business end of spinning for salmon, the lures, whatever you call them, fall into three main categories: spoons, spinners and plugs. Now, it may seem as I've got a lot of spoons here, but it represents, this little box would represent about 0.01% of all the spoons that are available all over the world. But if you were to ask me, look, give us a couple to kick off with, I recommend these two guys. This one's a Blair spoon, fishes high in the water with absolute maximum impact, gives a waving action, really, really good bait. This is a zebra Toby. You can see zebra, black, gold. That fish is lower in the water, and that particular colour in clear water is a real killer. Now the Blair spoon, this is in fact silver solder on that side. On the inside, the thing's made out of copper tubing, which is just cleaned. So you've got that copper silver contrast, and as it waves in the water, you get flash, 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 flash. That's the allure. The Toby is very, very good in clear water. Zebra, well, fairly obvious, black and gold on that side, but it's the gold on that side. And when these things actually kick in the water, it's the contrast between a flashy side and a duller side that really makes the fish inquisitive and attack it. Well, next we've got the spinner. This is a bog standard Mepps spinner. Spins, flashes, gives off a vibration, gives off flash, and I tell you, they may be simple, but they're very, very effective for salmon. And I just want to show you a little tip. When you buy this straight out the packet, it's got the manufacturer's hook onto that neb there. What I always do is cut off that hook and I put a split ring on the bottom. Why? Because you'll see people turn up at beats with spinners they've had for 30 years with the original hook on, and it's had a tangle with about 55 rocks, is as blunt as old Harry, and they come back a bit later on and say, well, I had a couple of fish on but I lost them. What it means is that basically I can put a fresh hook on there, a different size hook or a new hook whenever I like, and the lure's ready to take that. And there's another advantage in that if I were fishing a beat and I wasn't quite sure of the size of lure I wanted to use, I can carry a pocket full without my pockets getting absolutely humped up with loads and loads of hooks and a big tangle. So it's a really good little tip. Keeps you on the right side of fishing effectively. Now, this guy here emanates from Ireland and is called a Flying C, short for flying condom. And I think it's fairly obvious why it was called flying condom. Bit of a joke at first. This guy is probably the most effective lure for salmon fishing that's ever been invented. But for me, who does a lot of salmon fishing, it has one flaw, unfortunately, because if that's the strike point, that hook is back in the gill raker of the fish. And with catch and release being the norm these days, rather than unusual, if that hook is in the gill raker, the fish is what is known as knackered. And so for me, yes, very effective. Yes, I will use it if I want to fish for the table, but if I'm in a catch and release situation, I would avoid using this bait wherever possible.
There are literally thousands of spoons and spinners out there. TackleZone suggests you start with these time-honoured examples and build your collection from there.
There's never been a better time to join us here at onlinefishing.tv. Welcome to your world.